she was just that smart. Like she convinced them to sign off, and she did this under the name Joanne Pierre. She also did the same thing at the Royal Bank of Scotland, and she got more money. She said that she wanted to refinance assets from her family trust into her own name due to problems with her father. So basically, yeah, they lent her the money, and she made it seem like she was basically trying to transfer wealth, right? So the banks gave her the money because they thought she was going to eventually sell off these assets, and then the profit she makes, she keeps, and then she gives them back their money. Traditional real estate stuff. But they didn't know that she bribed a chartered surveyor, so like almost like a surveyor underwriter, to write reports where she would double the real value of the properties. So she received loans that were far higher than the value of the houses. So imagine you're giving somebody a loan to purchase a home, but the value that they have given you for the home is not real. So you're giving someone $10,000, but they're actually going to go buy a $5,000 property instead of buying a $10,000 property because they lied to you and said it was a $10,000 property. And she did it again, right? So she did it like around 2007 twice, and then she went back to the Royal Bank of Scotland with a different name as Zoe Fletcher, and tried to buy a house, tried to do the same scam, literally the exact same scam. And someone recognized her to say, "Aren't you Joanne Pierre?" And I think that's the funny thing. I think it's so funny that you do a scam claiming to be someone who's important, who's rich, and then you want to change your name and go back and do the exact same thing. Like, you said you were important, so we're gonna remember you, right? So she really have almost nothing to their name, you know. So these guys were able to get 1.4 million pounds back in total, or stuff to the value of 1.4 million pounds back. But yeah, can you imagine how clever you have to be able to like steal from the bank? I can't believe it. And I also just seem so surprised that the bank clearly did not much due diligence in terms of, you got the loans and you didn't use the loans for what you said you were going to use the loans for. Or here in the US, and I guess that's where they had like exactly, this is what I was trying to say, an evaluations person is more of an appraiser, someone who decides the value of the home. So if they overvalue things, then the bank has to go off of what they say and give you a loan that matches. Have you guys ever done the home buying process? Okay, I haven't, but I know a little bit about it. To say like, so when you go and you ask for a loan from the bank, the first thing that they do is, well, after they've gone through your finances and established that you're good for it, for the loan, I guess in this case they used the fact that she was some heiress who was trying to transfer her wealth from the other side of the world. But after they've done all that, and you found a home you want to buy, and you're trying to get into contract for the home, or you're in contract for the home, they send out an appraiser to evaluate the home. So if the home is valued under the value of the loan, you get less money. So let's say you're trying to buy a home for $250,000, but the appraiser says the house is only worth $200,000. You either have to cover the $50,000 or go out of contract and basically not be able to close on the home, because the bank has said they will only give you $200,000. But if the home is worth $300,000 and you are paying $250,000, then the bank will give you all the money that you need, and you have been fortunate enough to basically buy a home that is underpriced, basically underpriced, overvalued, I mean well valued or whatever. So that's how you would do it. So basically she got the appraiser to raise the values of the home so that she would end up getting $10 million instead of $5 million, and then she can maybe still purchase the $5 million home and then chow the rest of the $5 million. So when you now try to sell the house and it's appraised again, it's literally so much less value. Of course, in this case, these were about 4 properties, so they ranged in value. But can you imagine when the bank now, if you fail to pay your loans and the bank now tries to come and confiscate the home, then they realize, oh crap, this home is not worth what we gave her. And so that's why she got in trouble as well. Unfortunately, her husband did not get in trouble, because if I was a spouse of someone who was busy doing fraudulent stuff and I got in trouble because you were doing something, I'd be so mad. Oh, and by the way, she got divorced